Hi, my name's Danny. I'm going to talk to you about the ASSIST decision support system domain model. This is for screening alcohol and drug use in adults. So why do we need a decision support system? Well, the Ministry of Health reported that in 2015-16, 1.1% of adults had used amphetamines. The highest population that had used were the 25 to 34-year-old, where 2.4% of the population had used. In the ministry's 2012-13 cannabis report, they said that 11% of people 15 and over had used cannabis. The Ministry of Health estimated that the social and intervention cost related to drug use was $1.8 billion in 2014-15. Heavy drug use also has a much more lasting effect on one's physical and mental health. For example, long-term amphetamine use can cause anxiety and depression, as well as damage to the nervous system and higher susceptibility to infection and diseases. We can also increase the amount of screenings that happen. This increase will occur because it can help people with no AOD training or knowledge screen people effectively. This will also get people the help that they need with the increased knowledge to the workforce in a whole range of different personnel. But we'll come to that soon. I'll give you some background on the ASSIST tool. The ASSIST is the alcohol, smoking, and substance involvement screening test. It's used on adults and covers the following drug domains: tobacco, alcohol, cannabis, cocaine, amphetamines, inhalants, sedatives, hallucinogens, opioids, and other drugs that the client may use. The ASSIST calculates someone's level of risk and the level of intervention that someone requires. After the assessment, the ASSIST can also be used in a brief intervention to help explain issues with the client as well as track changes over time. This is the mind map that the Open EHR uses. Broken down into two nodes, event and data, substance use can be related to any event, and the data involved is the substance itself, the consumption details, like how it's used. This could be smoking, injecting, drinking, etc. How often it's used and how much is used. We can also capture the client's triggers, readiness for change, and the client's dependency on the substance. This is my domain model. I've split this into users, events, and data. Let's look at the users first. So the target user group for this DSS is really broad. The ASSIST was developed with non-alcohol and other drug, or AOD, trained users in mind. Therefore, this DSS will be used by GPs, emergency department, other hospital services, probation and corrections officers, as well as other disciplines like midwives and social workers and others. Now let's look at the events. The events are split into an initial assessment and checkups every 6 to 12 months after that. Looking at the data, it's split into input and output. Let's look at input first. First, it would need the demographics like age, ethnicity, and others, as well as other electronic health record data like pregnancy. The other inputs would be the answers to the questions on the ASSIST. These being, in your life, which of the following substances have you ever used? And a list of the substances that I listed earlier. In the past 3 months, how often have you used the substances mentioned above? During the past 3 months, how often have you had a strong desire or urge to use the substances? During the past 3 months, how often has your use of the substances led to health, social, legal, or financial problems? During the past 3 months, how often have you failed to do what is normally expected of you because of your use of substances? Has a friend or relative or anyone else ever expressed concerns about your use of the substances? Have you ever tried and failed to control, cut down, or stop using the substances? Have you ever used a drug by injection? So then, coming to the output data. So the output of the DSS is the client's risk level, either high, medium, or low for each drug. Then depending on the score, different information is needed. For example, high would give information on brief interventions, lists, contact details, and referral details for further treatment, resources around community groups, and also information on the problems that are the physical health problems that are often caused by the substance abuse, and alerts for the physical health and them needing to be checked up. So moderate would give you information regarding brief interventions, resources around different groups in the community, information about the problems that substance abuse can cause, and the same alerts for physical health. Low would give you just some basic information and still alerts for physical health concerns. It would also give information on injecting, if you answered injecting, and the output data would also give you a comparison between previous assists that have been completed. This is the process map for the DSS. Once the assist is completed, the DSS would look at the risk score for each substance. If the risk score is high, it would display information for a brief intervention, display information for referrals and contact details to other agencies, and display information about problems that are caused from substance abuse. It would then also, if the demographics lead to an increase of physical health concerns, it would also display alerts for the physical health. It would then move to the next substance until there's no more substances left. So if the substance risk is medium, it would display information on what groups are available, what community groups are available. It would display information on brief intervention. It would go through the same physical health loop. And if the risk or substance score is low, it would just provide some basic information about any risks that substance use might lead to. I have whipped up a little example in HTML to show what the DSS might be like. It would display the risk level for all the substances in the domain, a graph to show the different assists that have been completed. The final DSS would also show a more detailed comparison between each assist. Then we also have each drug and the risk level. That would also show, for example, in tobacco, different options for smoking cessations, who to contact for a prescription if you're not a smoking cessation prescriber. It would also have information like useful techniques that you can talk about in a brief intervention. There'd be a list of contacts for community smoking groups and the Quit Line and other agencies like that. It also has all the other drugs, so all the other substances would have referral details to CADs and other agencies depending on the risk level, and would also have useful techniques for a brief intervention and things to talk about. This would also flag for different physical health depending on ethnicity and age and the drug that it's used. Let's talk about the advantages and limitations. The first advantage is that it gives people who are not trained as AOD professionals information and knowledge so that they can do brief interventions with their clients. It also provides contact details for further treatment and flags physical health concerns to check, or that might be caused by the substance. Clients get the help that they need, and we can also track the progress to help with the recovery. The limitations, not everyone uses the assist. It's not always easy to follow up with clients so that we can't see the trend over time. Someone could be assessed by different agencies, so we'd get very incomplete data. For example, a GP might do an initial assessment and corrections might do an initial assessment, and we couldn't compare the two. And it's also hard to keep agency contact data up to date. These are my references. Thank you for listening. I look forward to the feedback.